We are live.
Yay! Welcome on into another Monday Live with the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
Not Matt.
Today we are joined by Chris, one of the founders and distillers of Traverse City, and their wonderful whiskey. Matt, let's go ahead and introduce everybody in the chat.
All right, let's see what we got in here this evening. We got Mark JG, One Lost Cause, Steve A, Christopher David, Fred Gilbert. That's a new name I haven't seen. Welcome. Robot Scott, Ice House, Ben Stahl, David Cole, Emily Chambers, the Linux Cat. Let's see, Donald Rantz, Dramhound, how's it going? Let's see here. William Devilar, Jason Coates, YW, Chris Beaton. There's Rockaroo. Hey, Ed, how's it going? Let's see here. Elvis Presley, Andrew King, Jeffrey Wack, Eric Evanson. All right, Richie Z, and David Jackson. All right, good to see everybody this evening. Do what? Oh, I think didn't catch up. Did more people come out?
Eric, wait. Hi, Eric.
Oh, yes. Oh, my thing finally. Yeah, there it goes. There's Bobby and Sam. How's it going? Wildlife and Whiskey. Patrick Fulmer. There's Jason the Mash and Drum. Dark Meat Chicken. Hey, Eric Wade. How's it going? Let's see. DH Sill. How's it going, Dustin? Jimmy Jazz. All right, Andrew Sproul. All right, so tonight, it's Traverse City Whiskey Co. So this is Chris, like he said. He's one of the co-founders and distillers there. And I'll let him take away and tell you the history. But I was lucky enough to get a chance to go visit up there last summer, up in June, and we were kindly invited enough to go there and take a tour. And we get this excellent whiskey was given to us so we can get a chance to review it. And it's all very good. We were glad to see that. Not that we were surprised, but it was very good when we'd heard up there. So it's a beautiful area, beautiful distillery. Had a great time visiting up there. And I'll let you take away in history and start talking about whiskey.
Good. Yeah. Chris Fredrickson. I'm a co-founder and one of our distillers. The quick background on TC Whiskey. We started the company back in 2011. We kicked off by contract bottling, fueled the fire. It was a passion of ours. And when we kickstarted, it was a kind of a reaction to my father and I finding some of our families digging up some heirlooms. We found my great-grandfather's distilling patents from the Prohibition era, and that was kind of the springboard for what became Traverse City Whiskey.
How did you find ones that were during Prohibition? How did that come about? He had patents during that time.
Purely coincidental. My great-grandfather was a chemical engineer for Dow back in that era, and so they were distilling for medicinal reasons, of course.
Good reason.
Yeah, better reason than any. And that just happened to be his scene. And of course, after questioning my grandmother why this never came up in conversation, that he was both a distiller by trade, which happened to be my passion at the time, and a bit of a bootlegger. He had a still in his attic. It just never occurred to her, despite me sharing how much I loved whiskey at the time, to even talk about it.
Thanks, Grandma.
It was the oh yeah of the time. So we found the patents. I shared the idea with my business partners, and we bootstrapped the launch of the brand Traverse City Whiskey. And within a few years, we were a real company. We had started distilling, continued to bottle, and we've been laying down products since. So for the last 5.5 years. And since then, we've expanded throughout the country. We're the largest craft spirits producer in the state of Michigan. We're now also selling in about 30 states, and continuing to slowly grow throughout the country.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You can't beat that at all.
It's long-winded.
We want to know everything you can, all the whiskey nerdy stuff.
Yeah,
we like Nashville grains. We like all that cool stuff. That's what all of our viewers really enjoy. So
if you can
ask questions, we're transparent.
If you can dive into the types of grains you use and your mash bill percentages and all of that, yeah, truly, the nerdier the better. Yeast grains, stuff like that. I need something in my glass though. I'm thinking I'm going to start with the 3-year bourbon. What do you think?
So that's a lovely place to start. That's where we start the lineup on all of our tours.
Well, you know what? That's my thought as well.
What this one looks like, guys.
This guy's coming in at 43%, which is a nice little ABV. Do y'all chill filter?
Everything is non-chill filtered.
Nice.
Strips too much of the color and the character.
Totally agree. Which we like to hear that non-chill filtering. Got a nice Traverse.
So for those that aren't totally aware of what the chill filtering process does, it does act as a bit of a stabilizer for the whiskey. In Northern Michigan, we do fall victim to the repercussions of non-chill filtering, and that causes what's known as flocking in the whiskey. And so when the whiskey freezes and then transitions back to an ambient temperature, there are certain molecules that they'll flock in a frozen state and almost solidify in this like creamy fashion in the middle of the bottle. And it looks weird, but it's a dense buildup of oils, and it just looks funky. It doesn't change the character of the spirit at all, but it just, if you don't know better, you look at it and say, what the heck? But chill filtering pulls out all those oils and any acids that'll lead to that flocking reaction, and creates a more consistent product, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I did not even know. That's really cool. That's awesome.
We typically enjoy things that are non-chill filtered.
Yes, that's probably the reason why we like it.
Taste those oils and those congeners.
Question. So one quick question here from Fred Gilbert. He wants to know: are the TC Barrel Proof Picks MGP high or low rye mash bills?
They are all the MGP high rye.
Okay.
There's also a question from Jason down there, Matt.
From Jason. Okay, let me look here.
If you want to highlight that.
From which Jason?
Jason
or Boosie?
No, above that one.
Boosie.
Let's see here. See if I can find it. Sorry. This thing just scrolls quickly. Let's see.
He's asking, are there any plans for weeded whiskey in the future? He's sucker for a weeded whiskey.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, considering the timing. We actually just released our first weeder not more than a couple months ago. We did an exclusive release in Tennessee, and we're now selling it by the bottle at our still house in Traverse City. So there's plans. Back in 2015, we only distilled 10 barrels. So it's leaving us at a bit of a disadvantage now. So our reaction is it's going to be a very limited production series.
Okay, very cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Elf also wants to know which whiskey you would recommend, Chris, for someone who likes their whiskey sweet. I want to say
hands down. Cherry whiskey.
Cherry.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. There you go. That makes it easy.
My goodness, that was we reviewed it. It was delicious, to be honest with you.
It's like your cherry pie.
Cool.
Yeah, I was telling Chris before we got on about how the other night Jeremy was saying that he got a cherry whiskey, then ended up being Traverse sees how good it was.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'm not a big fan of the flavors, but the process that you use doesn't impart the sugars; it just imparts flavors, and I appreciate that, because all that extra sugar is not necessary on my palate.
Yeah, it's definitely the best flavored. I think it's only naturally flavored that I think I've ever had, so it's great.
Yeah, I would love to share some intimate details behind the process behind making it, because it is unique. We don't have to talk about it right now, but it is something to touch on.
Here in a minute. I have some questions about your barrels. I'm not smelling any sort of young or green or sappy notes on this for being only 3 years old. Can you tell me a little bit about your barrel process and what kind of wood you're using?
Yeah, so of course we're using all new American oak, and we've made a point over the last 5 years to diversify a bit between coopers. All of our wood comes from the Ozark area, and there are three main coopers that we've stuck with between, actually it is Kentucky and Arkansas, but everything is new American oak, and everything around that age statement is going to be number 4 char. And there are several factors that will lead to a pulling some age off of the juice that relates to our climate here in Traverse City, but we can again get to that a little bit later.
So when you say what? Yeah, I guess people that probably don't know what kind of climate is Michigan. There's got people that are not from the States. Just to kind of tell them what climate Michigan is in general.
Yeah, it's temperate winter. It's it gets to actually, to back up one step, we have 4 very defined seasons. Okay. So our shoulder seasons of fall and spring are going to be a lot more mild, around 50 to 70, and there's a ton of fluctuation. When you hit winter, you drop between 32 and -5, but via the enormous balance of seasons, summer getting as hot as 90 or 100, there's a lot more fluctuation or expansion and contraction of the whiskey in the wood. And, Kentucky brags about Kentucky having this unique and romantic climate, and it's obviously a very good thing. But something that we really pride ourselves on is having 4 seasons that are very defined, leading to a much more rapid expansion contraction of the whiskey in the wood.
Yeah.
So how cold does it get up there? I mean, because for us, of course, we consider cold like 30, but I'm sure it's...
And I'm guessing you don't climate control.
Guessing what?
I'm guessing you don't climate control your warehouses or anything?
No. It's chilly on days like today. I woke up and it was 5 degrees, and wow. It'll get as low as -5, but that's pretty rare.
Not a place you're gonna live.
No, that's cold. So, and then where's the high in the summer usually get to approximately?
80, mid-80s. I mean, it's not terribly warm, but it's also not terribly cold. Depending
how long does it stay in the 80s?
Sorry.
Do you have a couple of months in the 80s, 2-3 months in the 80s, or do you have?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yep. June to August are all pretty warm, but it lets you defining each season so precisely. We've seen nothing but positive results with the barrels. However, a very interesting observation is one thing that's, of course, very popular down in Kentucky are hitting those super high proofs, right? Like, let's talk about the barrel that came out at 130, 135, 140, the Booker or something like that. We, with our northern climate, have not been able to achieve a consistent proof over. We're barreling at 120, and we can't bring in anything higher than 115 or 116.
Okay.
So our alcohol evaporates before the water, not the other way around.
So like Scotland. Okay, interesting.
Yep.
Very.
So what are y'all putting in? What are you putting in the barrel at? Are you going all the way up to 135?
No, we're stopping at one. We're regularly stopping between 110 and 120, and the reason for that is there's a school of thought right now that water plays better with wood than alcohol, and therefore there's this big back and forth debate. Do you invest more in buying barrels, which is a pretty big expense, especially for a small distiller, or do you barrel it at a higher proof, so you have to use less barrels? And we've kind of taken what we consider to be the high road and investing in more wood to get a better quality whiskey quicker.
There was a question up above from William Devilar. Do you use standard size barrels?
Yeah, 100%. We actually don't own anything smaller than a 53 gallon.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that makes that easy then.
Yep.
So you always just started with 53s from the get-go?
Yep.
Oh, well, awesome. Okay. And do you guys use, air-dried or kiln-dried barrels? I assume air-dried based on the flavor.
Yeah.
We use a blend. There's pretty fun experimental series coming out right now. So you want to toy a bit and figure out what's the good, the bad, the ugly after, say, a decade. I will say that the barrel investment is not something to be taken lightly. It's something that we got pretty fortunate with. there was a big barrel drought back in 2015, and we were forced to pay more for wood at the time, and it killed us. I mean, it was not a fun investment, but it so turns out that our first in-house distillate, which is 100% rye, it matured fast because of the 24-month season high quality Ferrari wood that we actually had to buy because it was that or don't barrel. So, everybody on the production side always says it's not necessarily the specific grains that make the epic whiskey. It's the wood and the water. And it's that the wood is crucial and has paid major dividends for most of our spirits.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely know that rye is awesome. So I can definitely attest to that from the flavor alone.
One of our regulars, Eric, was asking a question. Are you thinking about finishing anything with wine or sherry? And I'm going to go ahead and pour the port finish.
Yes.
Which is also coming in at 43%. They have done already a port finish that we have right here.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, do you want to talk about your gin real quick before we get to there? Because I know you have a really awesome gin.
Wait, a whiskey company that makes a gin?
Yeah, don't you guys make a gin too?
It's the Verse gin is not something that we own on a daily basis. But I'll definitely tell you about it.
Because it was really good. We tried this. My wife loved it, so that's why I wanted to ask you about it. Yeah,
so we wanted to try to create a spirit that kind of made sense under the whiskey umbrella, and that is what we're calling a northern style gin, which is very wood and floral forward with some light pine. It's what we call a northern style gin, and it is rested for a couple weeks in used bourbon barrels.
So that's very cool.
That's where the whiskey tie comes in. There's some cool Northern Michigan woods in there, some cherry bark, cherry pits, some cedar, of course, a nice lavender essence with some more piney woods as well.
Okay, which makes sense. With everything we went there in Michigan, that makes sense based on what you put in it. That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, okay. That's very cool. And I like that gin a lot, so that's very cool. So is that only available at the distillery, or is that something you guys will market at some point as well?
It's predominantly available at the distillery. It's in distribution in Michigan, but it's not something that we push.
Right. Because you're obviously a whiskey company, so makes sense.
You got it.
Okay.
It's okay to be good at two things. Just say.
And they are.
This port finish smells beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Linux Cat wanted to know what is the share? Is the blended? I guess that's what they want to know. What's in the blend, more or less, is what he's asking. What can you share?
The blend of the bourbon, or the gin we were just talking about.
I think the bourbon's what he's asking about.
Yeah. So the recipe for the bourbon.
Right. What's the mash up on it?
Yep. The recipe is we share a recipe with our friends at MGP.
Okay.
So back when we started with a high rye. We've transitioned, well, actually between the high rye and the low rye, but our stock mash bill for the bourbon and the cherry whiskey are the exact same. It's the 75 corn, 21 rye, and 4% malted barley.
Okay. Very cool. Now, this is the same mash bill for the Bell Proof as well?
It is. The difference is our distillate, their distillate. The barrel proof is all going to be sourced because it was before our time. And the bottle proof, we're transitioning off of the MGP, from away under the MGP umbrella to our own juice right now.
Okay.
But it started with the bourbon and is moving to the cherry. So the cherry, the difference between the bourbon and the cherry has a 2-year age statement.
Okay.
So of course that'll come first. The bourbon is 3 years or more. It's actually it's much closer to a 4-year.
Okay.
Now, the reason that we're currently sticking with the MGP mash bill is actually because of the cherry whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So Traverse City, Michigan is the cherry capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My father's a third generation cherry farmer.
Okay. Awesome.
So this recipe that we crafted back in 2014 for the cherry whiskey, the time we were just coming off of the vodka craze, everything flavored vodka craze.
Right.
And nobody was eager to pick up a bottle of cherry whiskey. They kind of scoffed at it. And fast forward a few years, more people want to get into, be involved in the category and learn more about it. But maybe even a bourbon or a rye is a little too aggressive.
Okay.
And so the cherry whiskey being, it's cherries steeped in whiskey, but a little bit lower proof. It happened to be a very approachable transition from, say, a vodka or a rum or whatever to try whiskey and show up at a party carrying a bottle of cherry whiskey or a bottle of whiskey.
Right.
So because of the cherry whiskey, it's been essential for us to hang on to the same mash bill so that flavor profile doesn't change. The cherry whiskey is our top selling product today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
What are you drinking on now, Matt?
Still the barrel proof because it's delicious.
That's what I thought he poured.
Yeah. So another question. Fred Gilbert wanted to know: are the store picks of the rye? Are they you're just in the Ferrari wood?
That actually depends. It depends on what state we're talking about and when.
I don't know what state he's in, so I guess Fred, tell us what state you're in, and he can answer your question. So okay, well that's cool. So now whenever he gets back to us here in a few minutes.
To broadly answer that question, we have several older MGP rye barrels on the market.
Okay.
And several of our 100% rye.
Okay.
It just depends on where the store pick would be.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. It says the Total Wine in Denver, Colorado. It's a 4-year barrel.
Yep. And sorry, what was the rest of the question?
Oh, that's where he's going.
Oh,
yeah.
4-year rye barrel. Yeah, that would be our 100% rye.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So now we know the answer. Right. Perfect. Okay, so I guess
that barrel
your port barrel finish. You can tell them about that and the barrel strength, I guess, while we're at it. So tell them how this all works and the mash bill and all that good stuff and how this works.
Yep. So the mash bill is the same MGP mash bill, but the port wine finish that you're trying right now has been rested in single-use port wine casks, the 59-gallon. They're from France, and they were filled with port wine for several years. Okay. Shipped to the U.S., they still had wine in them. So when we made this product, we dumped it out so the barrels were fresh, and within an hour, backfilled them with, I believe it was 2.5 or 3-year bourbon. They aged for 6 months, and then we bottled it at 86 proof.
Very nice.
So, what notes are you guys getting with the port barrel finish?
We finished that and moved on to the barrel proof.
Oh, for me, I just poured it, so I get a lot of plums and dates.
It was very dark and rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I liked it.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously the port itself. You pick up a lot of that, and especially since you said it was only for an hour, and you said you already filled it. That's awesome. So it was super wet barrel.
Yep,
that's very cool.
It's a very big difference.
Yeah, this is by far the best port finish whiskey I've ever had, as far as a bourbon goes. Because of course, plenty of scotches, but most bourbons I've had finished in port, they're just weird and funky. This is actually delicious. But yeah, this is really, really good. And then I got lucky enough, I guess the day that we were there at the distillery tour, you guys happened to have some of the barrel proof in stock that we got to try on the tour, and that was amazing.
Lucky.
Oh, I was lucky. That's awesome. Now, I assume that's all sold out, I assume? Or is that something you're still going to make?
It's out of stock right now, yes.
Are there plans to eventually make more of it, or who knows?
There is. It's currently in the works.
Fantastic. So how long? So when you had, then how long? Is this also going to take 3 years before you put it into the bourbon itself? Before you put it into the port barrels?
Yeah,
or it is okay.
3 years is about the marker, and then it's backfilled for about six months probably a bit longer, and then dumped, cut down, and bottled.
That was just dark and rich.
Hey, Matt,
So
before we switched from bourbon to something else,
Yes.
go ahead and break out that special piece of bacon.
Oh, okay. I guess you can tell everybody what the special bacon is.
I'm trying new bacon things.
Can you take a taste?
I marinated I marinated a couple of slices of bacon today in Weller Special Reserve for about 45 minutes before I baked it up.
That's pretty good. I like it. Michelle is with the port.
There's a small amount of sweetness that's showing up,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
I want you to do it with a high proof bourbon.
Yeah, I'm going to do something. I think I'm going to do Old Granddad next week and probably a rye as well.
mouth watering.
Yes, this is delicious with your.
I wish it was a little more interactive on this end.
I'm sorry.
Smell-o-vision.
So, you're going to have to mail some to Chris, some bacon.
Well,
That's fair.
gonna
Yeah,
have a video coming out pretty soon about how he makes the bacon.
That's
so.
true.
Cool.
Sure.
You can make up your own.
But it's special.
But with the amount of whiskey you send us, I feel like I can send you some bacon. I bet I could make that happen.
Just sharing the love. That's all.
The Linux cat. Will is the reason our bacon bill has gone up so high. Ours too.
Yeah. Me and Brian were talking earlier, Brian from Pit Face Barbecue, about just buying some pork belly and actually curing and making our own bacon. That way we can actually put the bourbon in earlier in the process and hopefully influence it a little bit more.
Wow.
Yum.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a whole nother endeavor.
Oops.
This port is wonderful, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
This is a mouth-watering conversation, so you guys know.
I'm sorry.
Both your port finish and your barrel proof are really, really wonderful. I'm really, really enjoying the heck out of this barrel proof.
I guess
Thank
I'm
you.
also asking, have you guys ever done anything with peat at all up there?
43.
Not yet. It's
yet.
actually it's pretty high on the list. We about a year ago we acquired a new property here in Traverse City, and we're in the process of installing a new distilling system, one that's much bigger and more robust. Will allow about 20x capacity, which is
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and until that's installed, we're not going to be distilling anything that's going to bring peat into the process.
Right.
However, when that's operational, it's game time.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. That's very exciting. Oh, that's great. So, okay, so let's talk about your still in general. So what kind of still do you guys run in? How big is it? What's your water storage? All that good stuff.
Yep, it's a 450-gallon Cote pot column combo.
Okay.
So that's right now we can produce 2 to 3 barrels a day, depending on how many shifts we run.
Okay.
And we've been on the system for 5 years, and we're I'd love to talk about the current system, but the new system has been where kind of our brains and
Sure.
hearts have been for the last few months. We're doing some custom work with our new equipment,
Okay.
and it should be a pretty fun element to share with both Northern Michigan, but also people in the Midwest that aren't as in tune with the distilling world.
Okay.
The folks at Vendome are horribly creative and can do just about anything.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So when will your new stills be installed? Any idea yet?
Well, yeah, they're going to be delivered in May.
Not too
So
long.
Nice.
we've heard all types of rumors about what the 3 months following look like.
No.
We've heard good, and we've heard not good. Just there's always mechanical challenges and unforeseen issues.
Sure.
But it'll be a couple months, 2 or 3 months, but we'll get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is this the property the big property where the tours were at? That's not the big one we're at where the barrel house is?
No, this is a new property.
Oh, this is even newer property. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
How
It's a bit
far apart are all of them?
so each of the facilities is about 5 miles apart.
Okay, so not too terribly far.
Yep. So we're up in just north of downtown, and it's off the beaten path a bit. It's a bit more agricultural, kind of on several rolling vineyards and orchards, and it's on 35 acres. So I mean, we've all seen traditional rack houses in Kentucky. It has that potential for growth as space is needed.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's awesome. It's very exciting news to hear that.
Yeah. Otherwise, downtown we're a bit confined.
Yeah, because I mean it's just that little. Yeah, it's a cool little place. I like visiting in there too. It's cool because your bar's right there and your still's right there, which is actually really cool to see. You don't see that real often in a distillery, but it's nice to get close and personal with the still.
Were we distilling while you were there?
No, you weren't, unfortunately, but that's okay. I got to go to both facilities, so it worked out great.
If we weren't distilling, that means it was a warm or a hot day.
Yes, it was a warm day because 2 or 3 of the days we were there in Traverse City, it was really beautiful. And I think the second to last, it was really, really warm. It was like the upper 80s that day.
Matt?
I'll
highlight a couple of quick questions.
We're missing some questions.
That I'd like to some answers to. Eric Evanson is asking, have you ever thought to take your used barrels and age malted barley in them?
No. But that could possibly be great.
And then I have one a little bit further down. Emily Chambers just asked, how many fills do they expect out of the Ferrari wood barrels?
They have to because that's the law.
And then, Matt,
what we're making right now,
asking you a question.
Between bourbon and the straight rye, it's mandatory, single use.
Well, you could use them for the cherry. You could use them for something else. You wouldn't necessarily have to.
We could use them for the cherry. With the cherry, though, we do. We make bourbon, and then we steep the cherries in the bourbon, and so it's no longer bourbon. Yeah. The aging process happens without the fruit. The rule of thumb, our rule of thumb in house is, we do about 10 pounds of fruit per 10 days per 2 barrels. So when we build a tank, every 2 barrels we put in and cut down 10 pounds of cherries, 10 pounds of fruit.
Awesome. Right. Okay. Eric also wants to know, how do you heat the stills?
We have a million BTU gas boiler in the back room, tucked away in the back room of.
So it's all steam.
Yep.
Excellent. And Donner Pass Whiskey wants to know if you guys drink the wine you dump from the wet barrels.
We don't. We on our most recent run, so we haven't really talked too much about this yet, but we are launching what we're calling our finishing series this spring. Okay. And it's going to be kind of a rebrand of the port, a sherry finish, and a local Cabernet Franc blend barrel, and which is exceptional.
Cabernet Franc is one of my favorite wines.
That sounds fantastic.
It's lovely, and it's so each spirit of the finishing series is a different recipe. So the Cab Franc is the 100% rye, the sherry is high rye, and the port is, of course, the bourbon.
Wow, that's awesome.
So to answer the question, we just kicked off this special aging series, and we bottled the wine, but we have not yet drank the wine. It is boozy wine, of course.
Yeah.
All fortified.
Yeah.
What is your program right now to alleviate yourselves of the barrels that you have that are now empty and you're not using the second time?
So Michigan has a monster craft brew scene.
Yep.
There you go.
Worked with, like Bell's over the years we've been partners there for a long time. And then Traverse City is surrounded by breweries. I mean, absolutely surrounded. So there's no shortage of groups in Michigan that are, looking to bring them on for either aging beer or furniture or whatever it might be.
Excellent.
Yep.
Do any of the wineries ever buy you guys barrels to finish stuff in?
Other way around.
Okay.
Yeah, we have, I mean, you've been up here. You've seen how many wineries.
Freaking ton.
There's dozens. So it's a fun selection of options.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, they had all sorts of grapes I never even heard of before I went up there. It was really cool. All the different stuff up there. But yeah, I don't know. I know we went to a few breweries too, but yeah, you're right. You guys you've got the alcohol market taken care of quite well.
The booze mecca of the Midwest is what we say.
It's wonderful. It was I would go there every summer. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is also a nice show to go to Traverse City and visit. You will have a great time.
You will. Try not to show up in January, but
yeah, that I probably would suggest not that.
Yeah.
I imagine that's probably rather cold and miserable, I'd imagine, in January.
It is, yeah. Not pleasant.
But apparently it's good for the whiskey, so.
Good for aging.
That's all
that
matters.
Talk about the flavors or your rye next?
Cool, let's do it.
Let's do the rye next because I don't like rye and I want to finish with the flavors.
I love the rye.
Not that I don't like your rye. I just not a rye person in general.
Well, I am. I'm a rye nerd, and I freaking love this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's start. Let's talk about your rye and what kind of rye it is in the 125. Getting down to the real nitty gritty.
So the rye itself is a blend of 2 rye mash bills.
Okay.
It's a blend of the 100% rye and the traditional 95-5 recipe.
Okay.
50-50 blend, and both mash bills share the same, either the same cooper or definitely the same char. So they're all, everything is still number 4 char, and it's a blend of the 2 barrels at the same age, about just over 3 years, probably 3 1/4, 3 1/2.
Oh, it smells wonderful.
And
it smells
so
about 95, right? Like 95 rye and about 5% pickle.
yeah, more or less.
So what type of rye varietal is it? Are you allowed to tell us what kind of rye it is you're using?
We don't talk as much about the specific varieties.
Okay.
But 100% of our grains are sourced between the horseshoe between Michigan and Wisconsin.
Okay, so it's all local rye. Very cool.
Yep.
But we don't.
So
really,
you guys go out to the farms and pick them usually? Which ones you're going to use, or not quite to that level of detail?
Not quite to that level of detail. The closest we've come to that is growing the grains on our farm and having them processed locally.
Okay, that works. That's cool.
But it's way too. I mean, the project like that is just it's so intimate that it's pretty darn inefficient to make 1 barrel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a blend of the 2 mash bills, the 100% and the 95-5, 95% rye, 5% malted barley, and the rye it doesn't have the distribution of the bourbon and the cherry. I don't think it's in Texas yet, but it is. I think it was a contender until the barrel proof rye came along.
Yes, which is phenomenal.
You guys, is that the sample you're holding?
This is the sample of the barrel proof rye.
I'm about to take my drink of the normal rye, and I'll
tell them why you call it the North Coast rye, because people, like I said, don't know what Michigan looks like, and I guess all that good stuff.
Yeah. So when anybody refers to Traverse City, when they visited Traverse City for the weekend, they may just say that they went up north, and it's kind of this abstract up north, northern element, and we're right on the coast of Lake Michigan, so we're kind of on the opposite side of the state of Detroit. So if you ever meet somebody from Michigan, and you'll see this in the back of any bottle, everybody uses their hand as a guide. And if Detroit is down here, Traverse City is up here right on Lake Michigan. Exactly. And so everybody from Michigan will point at their hand as though it's a map. For sure. We happen to be right on Lake Michigan. Hence exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Will.
That's fun.
He's special.
I am special. That's not
pointing backwards in reverse.
Yes, very special.
But yeah, that's where the North Coast rye comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't done.
You are now.
It's quite good though. I really do like it. Yeah, if you like a nice spicy rye, I think this is going to be up anybody's alley for sure. Mm-hmm. Now, the barrel proof, is that also available only through the distillery, or can you get that around Michigan, or how does that usually work on distribution of that?
So the barrel, let me actually back up to the barrel proof bourbon real quick. So the barrel proof bourbon actually has wider distribution than the rye.
Okay.
Wow. Last year at the 2019 San Francisco International Wine and Spirits Competition, Fred Minnick and crew, actually the whole group of judges, rated the barrel proof bourbon. They gave it a best in category, and it won a double gold at the show as the best small batch barrel proof bourbon.
Very cool.
So that put us on the map and has really helped with distribution across the country, as far as California, down to Texas, through Florida, pretty much everywhere out west and in the Midwest.
Very cool.
Yeah. The barrel proof rye is right behind it. It's probably seeded in half the states the bourbon is, but I will say that the barrel proof rye is the spirit that our production crew, everybody that works production gets a shift drink at the end of a shift.
That's awesome.
And when they go to the still house, the barrel proof rye is what 99% of them gravitate toward.
That's funny. It's really good.
So when they do something wrong, do you punish them by not allowing them to partake?
Yeah, no barrel proof.
Used to do at Jameson.
No barrel proof for you today.
That's what they used to do at Jameson, apparently.
Moving the camera.
Instead of docking a person's pay, they would take away their whiskey allocation.
Yikes. That's just, that's harsh.
That was all funky. Hang on.
Let's do it.
Oh, no, it's falling.
You said this. This is what? This is, you said 2 years old or 3 years old, the rye?
3 years old.
3 years old. It's amazing how much flavor is on this for a 3-year-old rye. It's truly amazing how good that is. I mean, I put that in the category some of the best ryes I've had. I've had a lot of different ryes. It's really good.
Yeah, it's those. So the Cooper is Canton Cooperage. They are a premium manufacturer in the industry, and until 2 years ago, we didn't really know what that meant until we opened up 3-year-old barrels, and they were excellent.
Yeah, because this tastes more like you getting like a 10 to a 12-year-old rye. This thing is incredible.
That is mighty generous.
No, it really is. I put that in the category of some amazing stuff as a blind taste. Stuff does really, really well against all the major brands of the big boys. So yeah. I can only imagine you put 2 or 3 more years on this, how unbelievable this rye is going to be.
And it is patiently aging.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Now you got to wait.
Yep. Hold your breath.
Very minty. Mm-hmm. Very minty.
Very minty. It's very spicy. It's just really good.
The barrel proof is less the dill, more of the mint side of it.
Did you say it was older?
The barrel proof rye is older than the North Coast rye.
Okay.
It is by about a year and a half.
For our palates, what we find is that ryes will start with the real strong dill note and kind of transition into more of a mint note as they get a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yep.
And those are the ryes that I'm okay with. It's that pickle. I love pickles, but I love them in my fridge. So,
And the Bloody Mary.
Huh?
And in the Bloody Mary.
Oh, I don't do Bloody Marys.
Ooh.
Nope.
My mistake.
Not. Huh?
My mistake.
It's okay.
You guys do have a lot of famous Bloody Marys up there. I know my wife tried one up in Leland with the fish and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Like, we're here. We have to order it. I'm like, whatever.
It's called the Chubby Mary.
That's it. That's what it was. Yeah, that one. The thing was wild. The fish was actually really good. That smoked fish inside was actually tasty.
It's great.
That the one with the slider and all the other food on it. I forget what place that comes from, but that one's really good too. Well, it's something else. Ooh, that was good stuff. All right, so let's see. So we did those two. All right, I guess you want to go into your cherry then at this point and talk about how that all works?
Or the Michigan apple first.
Apple or cherry?
Whichever one you want to go to first.
No, let's do apple and then cherry.
Apple first.
All right.
Yep.
So Apple.
Back one.
Yep. So the two agricultural products that are, I guess, cheap exports in that category in northern Michigan are apples and cherries. While we are known for our cherries, being the cherry capital, our apples are also world class. So we don't plan on doing more expressions that involve steeping a fruit.
Okay.
This is probably it, but they're kind of two types of agro in northern Michigan that we're extremely proud of. And if we're going to showcase anything, especially as what we call kind of our gateway whiskey category, the apple is, it's one of the leads in that family.
No.
For good reason. It's super easy to drink, and like if you're not a whiskey drinker, you can get into this real easy. Basically, I think that's a good crossover with, like you said, the flavor of vodka people is perfect crossover for them.
It smells like an apple Jolly Rancher.
Yes, it does.
Are you using green apples? Because that's what it smells like. Is it smells like?
We're actually using a blend of 3 types of apples, 2 of which are of the green variety. One is more culinary forward.
Okay.
More acidic, more flavor forward. But green apples really kind of breed that Jolly Rancher, especially in the nose, I think.
Yeah, absolutely on the nose for sure.
Yep.
It's quite tasty. Now, do you find people drink a lot of those neat or in cocktails a lot, or what do you people end up usually using the apple for, you find?
Yep, it's usually our house recommendation is an apple sour. So so just your traditional whiskey sour. We do occasionally do an egg white in that subtle apple essence, married with the sour of the sour mix. It's an excellent blend.
Awesome, we'll have to try that.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, just the very quick background though on the apple. It is a blend of 3 apples that are macerated into the bourbon. The idea behind it is very agro forward, and it is bottled at 80 proof. The goal behind the apple and the cherry is to still be whiskey. Anything we do, the last thing that we're going to do is to round out the essence of the whiskey. So between the apple and the cherry, we always say either apple or cherry with a hint, or whiskey with a hint of apple, not the other way around.
I agree.
It's not apple forward for sure.
Yeah,
it's still definitely.
It's hard to find that in a whiskey that actually, like I said, the whiskey is still the dominant note in it rather than the whatever flavor most places will put in it. So it's really nice that it's just the apple's a nice accent piece and it's really tasty. Now, does that have distribution at all, or is that just available there at the distillery?
No, just here in Michigan, and I doubt it'll leave Michigan.
Boo. What I had said on the review was that I thought both this one and the cherry would make a really fun addition, something to have in your collection to add to a dram that's gone flat, or if you created a blend that just fell off, or you have a whiskey that just doesn't have the flavors you were really hoping it had. A couple of drops of the apple or the cherry into it could bring out an entire, array of flavors, or add to, or
could completely change what you didn't like about the other. Right. Yeah.
So
that's a cool idea.
I look at what you've created as, something really, I'm a blender. I like to take what I have and make something new. So, yeah.
Cool.
Now,
that's
do you guys get distribution up to Canada at all, since you guys are on the border, or no?
Very minimal. Working with Canada is so you guys know a control state. Texas is a control state, isn't it?
No, we're a 3-tier.
Okay. Canada's like a control country. So when you want to enter, you enter at a very regulated level, and then distribution is not necessarily up to you. It's not something that we can really manage effectively on our own. So we sold in Canada a bit, but not in any real capacity.
Okay. So I guess if they get one, you're lucky. Good job, and drink some great whiskey.
Yep, there you go.
This apple's good. It's like the dessert in a glass.
It is. It's really good. I like the apple a lot.
Apple strudel.
Our friend Brian at Piss Base Barbecue says an old fashioned sounds really good with the apple.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I bet it would be. It would be awesome. I know I've made one with the cherry. I've not done it with the apple. It's a good idea. I'll have to try that next time I make one. That's a good idea. That was really good. Yeah, so speaking, I guess, of the cherry, if you want to move that, I guess you can even talk about your cherries you guys have, too.
The cherries. The cherries, yeah. You guys don't have the cherries, do you?
No, we don't have them, unfortunately, but I did try them at this place. They're freaking great.
Yeah, I'll briefly touch on the cherries.
Okay.
But, they are a very fun new line of business for us. They've been out. We launched them in 2018 because we were making so many cocktails at our own cocktail bar using Luxardo cherries.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We were paying a fortune. We were the cherry capital, the whiskey company, the cherry capital was paying a fortune. Yeah, with cherries in to make it was bizarre. So we realized that we were nuts, and we decided to do it ourselves. We partnered with a local fruit cooperative. We built a Luxardo style cherry using a variety that's specific to Northern Michigan called the Balaton sour cherry.
Okay.
The Balaton sour cherry was birthed in Hungary in the 1800s and migrated to Northern Michigan via Michigan State as a research project.
Oh, okay.
And it lives and grows best in Northern Michigan and is a fantastic addition to any cocktail. It's by far our hottest product right now.
No.
Wow.
We sell the cherries on Amazon, our website. They're a hit. So if you haven't tried them and you love cocktail cherries, it's worth a gander.
Okay, we get them on Amazon. Even better. That we can do.
Yeah. So the difference between say the cocktail cherries, the cherries in the cocktail cherries, and the cherries in the cherry whiskey, the Balatons are what build the cocktail cherry.
Okay.
They have a very elegant bite. They're full of flavor. The cherries used in the cherry whiskey are Mount Morency sour cherries. And the fruit is grown on my family's cherry farm up here in Traverse City.
Oh, very cool.
So I mentioned it a bit ago, but for every 2 barrels that we blend, every 2 bourbon barrels that we blend, which are aged between 2 and 3 years, we cut the whiskey down to proof at about 70 proof, steep the fruit, and then wait between 10 and 14 days, and then filter it out and bottle it up.
It's so good.
It is.
So
It's
freaking
so
good.
Thank you.
And again,
Pie filling.
whiskey forward with a cherry accent. It's not.
Yep.
It's not cherry with a little bit of whiskey. It's truly. It's a good. It feels like a nice solid whiskey or a good introduction whiskey. Something that I would give to somebody to say, hey, not all whiskey is what you think it is. Let's go bring you down a path. This is something kind of easy to sip on to start with.
So another big difference between this and the apple is the apple is bottled at 80 proof.
Right.
And the cherry is bottled at 70 proof.
Okay.
Did you swoosh the throat, Sarah?
No, we threw it to the dog, and somehow one of the cats got it. It was just insanity.
The like 9-pound cat beat out the 50-pound dog. Okay, so sorry, it was just odd.
So Jason the Mash and Drum wants to know since also blueberries are prominent in Michigan, are you guys planning to do any blueberry releases at all?
I don't see it happening. I think we're tapped on the infusion series.
I don't know. A blueberry in an old fashioned sounds pretty good too.
That does not sound terrible.
Hey,
there's a tartness with blueberries though that might be hard to.
It could
go
really good
one way or the other.
There's a tartness with apple. Look at the green apple.
You don't use all 3 green apple though.
Yeah, that's true.
It would probably be irresponsible not to try the blueberry.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally irresponsible.
Just try it.
I have to go off topic for
blueberry.
just a quick second. Eric Evanson, since I still see that you're in our chat, buddy. I found this at Total Wine. I picked it up and I thought of you.
Thing's huge.
giant thing of teachers, buddy. Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate the heck out of it. Sorry. I'm a peat head, and I'm always looking for cheap peat. And I just picked up a handle for $30, and that's really good cheap peat. So yeah, just had to check that out.
Jason has a name already for your blueberry. It could be the blueberry cask.
Blueberry cask.
You could release it at Halloween.
That'd be awesome.
Actually, it looks like Richie Z might have come at that first.
What did Richie Z say first?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's a good name.
There's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, you gotta try it at least.
Oh, you could do all the fruits, some apple and some cherry and some blueberry all together.
The mixed berry.
Juicy fruit whiskey.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, even if it doesn't leave the distillery and nobody else gets to try, you got to try for science.
Blueberry, spelled correctly. Yeah, they nailed it.
We tried while we were there. Is that actually going to go into production? Or is that just a fun experiment we got to try while we were there?
What's that?
That maple barrel bourbon.
Oh, that'll eventually hit the market.
Super, that was amazing. Usually, I hate maple stuff. That was actually good. So I think it's probably your same thing where you guys are not adding sugar and stuff. It's probably why I actually liked it.
Yeah, it was a bourbon barrel turned maple syrup barrel turned bourbon barrel. And so it's been resting in the maple syrup saturation for way too long. It'd be a fun project to release, but it would, again, if our old tour guide sampled a lot of it and we only made 2 barrels. So
yeah, they're like, hey, let's try this cashew. I'm like, ooh, this maple one. I'm like, yes, please. Let me try that one.
Yeah.
What was the other one we tried? Was it peach or something? Was there something like
was it the apple brandy?
Oh, that's what it was. It was the apple brandy. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So any update on that? Or is it the same thing, just an experiment?
No, we actually distilled. We're distilling apple brandy. We were distilling apple brandy today.
Awesome.
Yeah, we make between 10 and 20 barrels a year. And we've just been resting it. It's been patiently waiting.
Yay.
Yeah, that was good too.
We use the same 3 apple blend for the apple brandy.
Okay.
But we just go through and actually mash and I guess technically just ferment the apple cider and then distill it and then backfill used bourbon barrels with it.
Okay. Yeah, that was really good too. So any other cool experiments you guys got going on you want to talk about?
I've already shared too much. Nobody knows about anything serious.
Blueberry whiskey.
Blueberry. Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
I love this cherry.
Yeah, it's really good. I do enjoy probably the very first whiskey that was flavored that really was whiskey and not just flavored stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, like the fact that real proof on it. It's not this little wimpy, 15% thing. That's we got 30 proof. Oh boy, that's very exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's the only bad and good thing is it can also hurt you. It will sneak up on you if you don't realize how high the proof is.
So we have, speaking of sneaking up, we have bonfires are a big thing on the coast of Lake Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have very specifically banned all of our local friends from bringing barrel-proof bourbon to the bonfires.
This is probably a good idea
because it is higher proof. And when you're passing a bottle around a bonfire, the last thing you want to be passing around is 115 to 120 proof whiskey. It doesn't taste like 120 proof whiskey. It's gotten very out of hand very quickly with the wrong bottle at the bonfire.
Nice.
I don't know how this got in the bottle that says that it's a regular one.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. And scary at the same time.
Yeah. Barrel proof sneaks up on you. Double the proof.
So another question, just in general with the distillery. How many employees do you guys have, and like how big is like square footage and all that? How many barrels do you have laying down right now?
Yep. So the quick answer, TC Whiskey currently employs 32 people, including myself. Half of that is our production staff. Half of that is our bar staff.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big bar.
Now, sorry?
I said, wow, that's a big bar. I said,
well, we have 2 tasting rooms.
Gotcha.
We have one in Traverse City and one just north of Detroit.
Okay.
Okay.
So little taste of Northern Michigan down in Detroit. Sorry, what was the next question about laying down barrels?
Yeah, how many barrels do you have laid down currently that are aging?
We have north of a few thousand. I'll put it that way.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Yep. We have been kind of pedal to the metal since we got our DSP in 2015.
Very cool.
Good.
So you think so as far as distribution, you said like 30 something states. How many different bottlings are out what major bottlings are available in other states at the moment? People that want to go out and find it.
3 most common are going to be the bourbon, the cherry whiskey, and the barrel proof bourbon.
Okay.
But then the barrel proof rye and the North Coast rye are kind of scattered about.
Okay.
Good to know.
And on our website, just one quick point there. On our website, we have a list of states we're distributed in.
Okay.
We are pretty much doing barrel picks in any of the states that we are distributing in. So if you happen to be one of those states and are looking for some TC whiskey, doors open.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like I said, we were talking about Dallas. You said got some limited distribution. We have to find out which stores got it, and if not, we can get over to the Tarrant County side of it where we're at.
There you go.
Get them to bring us some whiskey in.
What's the probability of me getting a higher proof of this cherry whiskey?
God, that is a weird question.
I want that.
We just talked about that.
I want that.
Talked about this.
I really do.
we toyed the idea of a barrel proof cherry, or
that'd be awesome.
It's on the R&D side right now. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, when that happens and you hear about it, say the word. We'll send it your way. But we're gonna have to swap bacon. Bacon for barrel proof.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that would do well. I really do, especially with how smooth and delicious the whiskey is. I really think that
what we need to do, Will,
do very, very well.
I'd buy a case.
Is you send them the bacon, and when we get the high proof cherry, we soak the bacon in the cherry.
Ooh.
And see how that turns out, because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does. Chris, is there anything else from your distillery coming out that people should be keeping an eye out for?
Other than the whiskey soaked bacon, no.
No.
Coming out.
New availability in the tasting room.
What's that?
New availability in the tasting room.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately. Actually, that same whiskey soaked bacon would probably be a nice garnish in a smoked old fashioned.
Yes, it would.
Oh, I like that plan.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Coming out this spring, we have our finishing series, which is going to be a tiered release starting next month, maybe 6 weeks from now. It will probably at first be a tasting room only, but we're going to actually put it in distribution this year.
Okay.
And then later this fall, we're going to be debuting our apple brandy.
Yay.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
This is awesome.
Well, I wish you nothing but the best, Chris. The products that you presented forth so far have been all very, very tasty.
Barrel proof cherry.
And I'm really happy to be sitting here drinking them and talking to you tonight. So cheers to you and cheers to your company. And I hope everything goes well with that, because this is fantastic.
Cheers,
product.
you guys. Thank you very much for chatting.
Yeah, absolutely. One quick question. Robot Scott wants to know, do you know if Maryland got any store picks at all by chance?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So that answers that question.
We've sent samples.
If anybody else has any other questions for Chris, we got him here in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to sign off here. So everybody else has to let us know.
Got another vote for barrel proof cherry.
There you go.
There.
The plan for next week with bacon is going to be soaking some in a higher proof bourbon. This was soaked in Weller Special Reserve. I think we're going to go with a little bit higher proof next time, and we're also going to go with the rye, and we'll see how those turn out. Probably soaking them for a little bit longer this time before baking them up.
So for this week, coming out on our reviews is going to be the new Whistle Pig 6-year piggyback and the Jameson Cold Brew. So it should be two very interesting new whiskeys.
Speaking of flavored whiskeys that were better than expected.
Yes, the shocking was actually good. Let's see what else. So next Monday it's Bourbon Night's going to be here with us. So that should be a really fun stream, everyone. So I'm excited about this. Well, this was awesome. I really enjoyed all these whiskeys, and hopefully everybody can go out and find some of this. So Fred Gilbert's got a question. Here we go. He found a barrel of the barrel proof bourbon that says it's only 4 years. Is that correct? Should it be $90? Is that about the right price for it? He's asking.
Yeah. Excuse me. It depends on the state. It should be between 70 and 90. 90 would be on the high end.
Okay. Yeah, he's in Colorado, so I guess take it up with your Colorado people. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's good. So, anything else? I think
it should be a bit closer to between 70 and 80, but it just depends on where you're buying it.
Very cool. Eric, he said several thousand, so that's good. Alrighty then, I guess I want to pour. Actually, I'm pouring a little more of this cherry because it's freaking delicious, and I think I have to make an old fashioned now with this apple too. Just
I'm gonna go out on the apple.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal. Well, how much do you got there? I might need another little sample to bring my dad to that apple.
Okay.
He's an old-fashioned boy. I would like to try it out.
Sounds like a plan.
Push the whiskey all over.
So the barrel, the bourbon, the barrel proofs are 4 years. Is that correct on the bourbons, or just 3? Like the
the barrel proofs are anywhere from 4 to the old stuff that was distilled by MGP.
Okay.
Up to 11 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yep. All right. I think that's everybody then. All right. Yeah, they're saying please bring barrel picks, store picks to Maryland.
Done and done.
Okay.
Oh, Eric's got one more there. What's your oldest age barrel currently?
5.5.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep. We started selling in there.
If you guys have more questions, you can always drop them in the comments, and we can reach out to Chris and get you answers.
I'll drop in the description the website for Traverse City as well, so you guys can find it easily and go check out their website and see if you can find a bottle hopefully near you and go buy some of this awesome whiskey.
Yeah, I was actually to drop one plug there.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, anything else want to plug?
If you're looking to keep up on the TC whiskey goodness and learn a little bit about Traverse City, check us out on Instagram. It's at TC Whiskey. So go on, follow it, check it out. We've got some good content talking about some of the fun projects we were working on. And then, of course, our website, www.tcwhiskey.com. We have information on the whole lineup. So don't be a stranger, please.
Absolutely. If you go to Michigan, definitely go check them out, guys. You will not be sorry. That is some really good whiskey.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's it then. Well, anything else you want to tell anybody, Chris, or are we good?
No, that's it. That's all she wrote.
Sounds great. Everybody, I really appreciate everybody being here listening. Chris, thank you much for joining us. And we'll see everybody next week. Cheers.
Good night.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
He just vanished.
He just vanished.
He probably